Hi, guys. Thank you for joining. This is Essence of Science, and today we're going to be talking about the impact of stress on joints. I'm Amanda Armagast.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence. So,
So, this is actually a podcast that I called because it's a question I've been having for a while. Dr. Abbasi, you probably haven't noticed, but there's a trend right now that I'm seeing it with women, Cassandra's seeing it with men, but the trend right now is to wear like a tactical vest, a weighted vest while you're walking. People are just taking normal dog walks and wearing a weighted vest. The idea is, I think you should have it be like 10 to 20% of your body weight. So, not very heavy of vests, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, or maybe it's even less than 10% of your body weight, but they're like 8 pounds to 15 pounds of a tactical vest. And people are saying that they want to wear them because it helps with getting bigger muscles and losing weight. I personally like to walk sometimes with. Are you still laughing at me? I like to walk sometimes with 1 pound weights, not for any reason other than I've read that you should hold something while you're walking because it does something with your brain beneficial. I don't remember what it is, but ever since I read that, I've been doing that. So they're 1 pound weights. But my major question is it good for you to walk your dog wearing a weighted vest? And the reason I'm asking that question is because also I've heard or read or understood that one of the biggest issues with obesity is the pressure that it's putting on your joints, and that having so much weight on your joints can actually be bad for them. So that's my question is it good to wear a weighted vest, or can maybe the risk outweigh the benefits?
um, indirectly, we have done a lots of research exactly on what you said, but in a different way. Now, if you know the history of space flight, you know that we start doing this research in 1960s already. The effect of weightlessness on astronauts and so on. And we know anybody who goes up there, they have to exercise very rigorously. But the time they come back, even after just few months, they have lost like 30% of bone density.
They have to be carried when they
They
get
have
to
to be
Earth.
carried. They have to be carried. I mean, it takes them, and rarely astronaut that they go back there twice or and so on, because that the effect on your health is tremendously. Now, let's this is a fact, and we have done tremendous amount of research. We know the physiology of it and so on and so forth, that when you take the weight off, your body adjusts to the new situation, which is less muscle, less muscle tone, less bone density. The opposite, obviously, we haven't done yet a study that we send a patient or somebody to a planet with a higher gravity than Earth. We don't have that capacity. But there is no reason to doubt that the same thing happens. If you send somebody to a higher gravity, and at first it'll stressful, and then eventually the bone density, the muscle becomes stronger. We know it. We have done that study from athletes, again indirectly. What that means, that we put the athletes to a rigorous kind of process to increase slowly, that is the science of it, slowly increase their pressure, the impact, the literally how much each muscle group on the joint or the bone has to stressed out. Like um, we have those isotonic or isomorphic kind of activities that put more weight pressure. We call it working out. It's now a thing, but we have done the research on that for many, many years at how we can make the bone become stronger, the tendon becomes stronger, and the muscle becomes stronger by slowly increase the stress on the person or on the activity. Now, what you are asking is nothing more than exactly doing that, and I think it's a very healthy way to slowly, first maybe 5%, then 10%, and then maybe even going to 20%. I would say that should be max. And but the idea is here that well, many times I have a backpack
Mm-hmm.
in the back, and you have to make sure that like when you have a weight, when you go to gravity, higher gravity, it's equally distributed. Whereas if you just have a heavy backpack, that is just certain muscle are more than the others. Now they have these jackets now that like literally distribute like what you are talking about, having this heavy weight or a little weight on your hands. It's enable you to work on the hands, forearms, arms, shoulder, and so on, and even neck. Okay, and then obviously that your body has to carry that extra weight, but it's still not harmonized. It's not everywhere equally dispersed. But then now they have those things that like a Velcro you put around
Yeah, I
your
have
wrist
those.
and around your even your legs and so on, or these suits that can that, but that becomes a little more cumbersome that you have to put another thing
Yeah,
on.
but also I wanted to I looked
Mhm.
into those ankle ones because I just kind of had this theory that if you walked with ankle weights, maybe it would make your butt a little bit rounder. And when I did my research, and this was years ago, so this was probably like 5 years ago,
You're
they
not completely wrong.
it said though, what my research said was that you should not put ankle weights on and take a walk because if you're going to wear your ankle weights, it should be while you're doing an exercise for your ankles. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but backwards kicks are like um that dog thing.
Okay.
I can't think of it.
So
But what it said is that if you put the weights on your ankles and take walks, it might put too much um weight or like too much stress on your ankles.
okay, now I'm going to give you expert advice to have a natural Brazilian butt lift. Okay, so you put a ankle weight. It does what it's supposed to do. More weight for certain muscles. What are those muscles that when you put an ankle brace that you have to work
Your
harder?
calves and
Mm,
your ankle muscles, like
your quads mostly.
your quads.
Yeah, because your quads has to lift your leg when you walk. Okay, to some degree as well.
Because your calves have to propel your foot forward, right?
Well, that is the ankle brace is not on your foot. The calf muscle control the foot. The thigh muscle control the calf. Okay, so that give you a good workout for certain muscle that bring the leg up. What are those muscles? Mostly quadriceps and iliopsoas. Iliopsoas is in your belly, which is a good muscle to train. Now, what does our butt muscle do? There are four muscles in the buttock. What are those muscles? Mostly gluteus medius, maximus minimus, and then some other smaller muscle there. What do they do?
They pull your legs back, sideways.
They lift you up. They literally lift your torso up and straighten your hip. So, what can you do for that muscle to work more?
You can do squats. You can do curtsy lunges, regular lunges,
Stairs,
walking backwards.
stairs. And if you want to put more stress on them, that weight need to be above the waist.
So what you're saying is, if you walk with a weighted vest, it might make your butt look more round.
That is why I'm saying that the most natural way of getting a natural Brazilian butt lift without all the cost and risk associated with that.
I might be sold actually. So you
And again, I see a lot of people have this fancy thing, and so on, and that I was talking about that in the thing that in our interview, in TV interview, that they have casually heavy backpacks hanging from one. That sort of
balance it. Yeah.
that sort of counteract totally negatively any benefit you would get from that. It has to be harmonized with your body. It has to be equally distributed. You have to let your muscles equally carry the load.
So to argue with you, when someone is overweight, my assumption would be that they're pretty much equally overweight.
Most of the time, but sometimes
is-
not. Sometimes not. Sometimes
Why?
it is just in
The belly.
in the belly and the hip. Sometimes it is so. there are so many variations of that I cannot just
But
say this true.
My question is, why is it good to have the weighted? I know the answer in the back of my head. Why is it good to have the weighted vest and exercise, but bad? Like sometimes, if someone's overweight, people say start exercising by doing aqua aerobics and taking the pressure off your joints.
These are totally different situations. When you put that weight on, then when you go home, you take it off, and then all of a sudden your muscles say, wow, I'm so much stronger. Whereas when you have already that weight for years and years, it has already worn your joint and already have this, literally destroyed many of your structure in your body. Your capacity has sunken to a point that even regular activity become difficult. But you need to start somewhere, and that somewhere is water aerobic, where you can counteract some of that weight, so you can get into it. Yeah.
Am I correct to say that if you are going to wear a weighted vest, you really need to focus on your posture? For example, a lot of people, myself included, when they walk, lean forwards a little bit. Maybe they're a little bit top heavy. And I understand that you can put extra strain on your lower back by not having good walking posture. So
harmonizing the stress and the weight is the key.
There's a saying for the girls that you should try entering a room with your hips first, because a lot of us girls naturally...
I don't know how you would do that.
I'll show you. A lot of us girls naturally lean a little bit forward when we're walking. So it's a good idea to imagine pulling your shoulders back and walking with your hips first.
I'm just imagining how you would enter a room.
Not literally, but you're supposed to imagine it. Okay, so...
No, you have to bend like backward.
I'll help you. I'll help you.
That's beyond me. That's beyond. It's anything that goes in my mind, any picture I draw from going with your hip first, it is like a very awkward and very...
Any picture you draw is awkward, period. So don't worry. To come to a conclusion, walking with a weighted vest is good for you.
Yes, it is. But like anything else, do it slowly, go up on the weight slowly, harmonize it, distribute it properly, and especially distribute it, right and left equally.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. This was Essence of Science, and we talked about strain on joints. I'm Amanda Armagas.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence. Don't go with your hip first through a door.